Hello, quilters. It is a lovely Tuesday in New York, and I'm so happy to be here talking to you. We had quite a scorcher last week in New York, air conditioning on, hot, humid, gross. And then the temperatures dropped like they saw the cop. We're back down in the low 70s, and it's just beautiful. Uh, it's free weather, which again is one of my favorite things in the world. No heat, no air conditioning. It's beautiful. Free weather. And I have been enjoying it all by staying home and quilting. I was working this weekend because I had a class to teach. Sorry, my computer's doing some updates because, of course, it is. I was teaching at Middlebury Quilter's Corner at Middlebury Sew and Vac in Middlebury, Vermont, and we had a lovely time. We were talking about doing borders on the Pro Stitcher, so that was fun. I do have more classes scheduled with them. I have more classes scheduled with Bits and Pieces in New Hampshire. So you can go to debbiebrownquilts.com and click the live classes, live teaching classes, which is going to be my live in person and live online. So let's see what's going on in the chat. Dina, you remembered. Hi, I remembered too. I'm glad you're here. So Sunday was just kind of a tired day. Yesterday, I had a grandkid's birthday, so we had to go have dinner with them, which was lovely. His favorite dinner, scrambled eggs and waffles, naturally. And I called my mom when I got in the car to drive home, and she's like, "How are you?" I'm like, "I'm sticky." And if you spent time with a 1-year-old, you're probably sticky too. So it was just a beautiful time. And now I'm back home and working and quilting. So Dina, tropical humidity. Ooh, yeah, that's stay inside in the air conditioning and quilt type weather. We're having more of a typical spring day today. So far in New York, I live 70 miles north of New York City. We've had winter. And then in April, we went to summer. We were 95 degrees. And then we went back to winter. And then we went back to summer and we had a day of spring, back to summer, and now we're back to spring. So it's the seasons change. They don't change like this, they change like this. So right now we're on a spring day, and I love it. Just staying home and quilting. I had so much fun on Sunday, just relaxing and sewing because it was fun, that I had a bit of a side quest. So I have the plans of things I intend to do. I'm like, I should finish that quilt. I should work on this. I should do that. And then I saw a whole big box of scrap 1.5 inch strips sitting right over there. And I fell into it. And I had to sew my way out of it. And I'm still sewing my way out of it. So I grabbed all of a bunch of blue and green 1.5 inch strips, and then a bunch of cream 1.5 inch strips, and I started making log cabin blocks. I have a friend who's having a baby next week, and she's having a girl. And I went through all of my started quilts, all of my kits. There's like three that are for girls. Everything else is for boys. So I have tons of boy quilts in process. So of course I had to start another one. Did I start with the pink? No, I went for another blue one. I don't know why, but isn't that just pretty? Blue and green with yellow centers. I have a different yellow center in here too. I have a brighter yellow. So I have a couple yellows. This is all scrap, and we'll see what it's going to become. Have you ever done that? I also pulled aside, I think I need 32 of these blocks for the quilt I have in mind, because it's going to go with color blocks and some other things with it. So I still have a bunch of blue and green strips that I won't use all of them. And then I have all the colored strips that aren't blue and green. So pink, orange, yellow, and purple. And I have tons of those. So I was thinking of making a quilt with that. And then I was thinking of taking the leftover blue and green ones and mixing them with brown and making a quilt with that. And then I have a bunch of black and gray ones. So I have about 6 quilts just in this box. I can scoot away for a second. It's not like I haven't started working on this before, because I already took the scraps. These are my non-bright colored, and I made a bunch of rail fence blocks. Did I say I made a bunch of rail fence blocks? Because I made a bunch of rail fence blocks. But no, really, I made a bunch more rail fence blocks. I started counting them out and realized I have enough for like a king size bed, and I'm going to make some throw quilts with it. Oh, wait, here's some more rail fence blocks. So I love making plans, and then I love not following the plans. So the plan is now to make one quilt with my 1.5 inch strips, and then another quilt, and then one quilt just with the 1.5 inch strips. And then here's the last bit of them. So the pile in total is taller than my head. There's probably 3 quilts in here, maybe 4, of throw size sweet tooth quilts, rail fence. So yeah, I've got those. I'll be quilting for a while. I can't wait to go to a fabric store. Not because I need fabric, because I have more fabric than life expectancy, but I have more fabric quilts started than life expectancy. But isn't that the fun part about quilting? Do you ever do that? You just like, I just need to go start a bunch of things. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So let's see. You love those spring days, Dina. Yes. We don't get a lot of them. I mean, spring is this long and fall is this long. Summer is this long and icky winter is this long. And we have this much of the in-betweens. But I cherish them. Today's just a beautiful spring day. I think it is a high of 75. So I have a ceiling fan on. I don't even think I have the sliding door open yet because it's just nice and cool in here. Let's see, Anne. Anne, hello, Anne. And I know an Anne Cohen. Are you the Anne Cohen I know? The one who doesn't live far from here? But if you are, hi. And if you aren't, hi anyway. So hello. So that's what I've been playing with. But I will probably continue playing around today, doing some work, and then going to make a couple blocks in between. Other things I've been doing. I did finish a quilt this weekend. And this will show up in As the Bobbin Turns, and it'll be where I preview things in there that are going to be future classes. So this type of quilting will be a future class. The quilt itself is called Squared Away, and I did some fun quilting on it. So I worked on that. I've got a couple quilts over there that need to be basted. I have the backings, so that might happen today. And the other thing I've been doing is working on a quilt for the a sweater for the 1-year-old. So here's where it's at so far. This is more like a size 3 because I didn't get it finished. And a size 1, 2 isn't going to necessarily be big enough for him for this winter. He'll be out of a 2, so it's a little big, but it's very fun and it's yummy little wool in here. The shaping on this was really weird. Trying to figure out where I'm going. So you start by knitting the back. So you knit a straight strip across the back, and then you pick up some stitches, and then you knit up over the shoulder, and then you knit up over the shoulder, and then you knit back and forth on the front, and then you join it at the underarm. So now I'm at the easy part where it's just one big loop and I get to knit it, but I've been working on that. That's kind of what I got going. Are you a multi-project person where if you only have one project at a time, it's totally boring? I kind of need to have choices. What do I feel like working on right now? The biggest thing I feel like working on right now, which I don't, but I have to, and it's a good thing, is that I'm leaving town on Friday. I am going to Primitive Gatherings in Wisconsin for a quilt retreat with a girlfriend. We're taking a 2-day road trip there, 2-day road trip back, and then spending a full week out at Primitive Gatherings. So I've got to pack. Figuring out the clothes and the toiletries and blah, 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 and then all the supplies, and then, little gifties for everybody and just things to do. So that's what I have on to do this week after I finish my paid computer work, because I do social media for people and I do other things. So I have to finish my work. There will not be a Facebook Live next week. I might come to you with a video, but I'm not going to schedule it because I have no idea what I'm doing and I'm on vacation. But I will hopefully have this video out on As the Bobbin Turns, and you'll get to see that. And I may have some fun links for a newsletter for while I'm gone. Patty, hello. I'll wave to you as I'm driving through northern Ohio. I am stopping on the way to Wisconsin in Akron area because that's where Sue Spargo has a shop and she does a lot of wool handwork. So we're going to stop at Sue Spargo's shop. So it'll be a blast. Dina, yes, you're a multi-project person. Exactly. Let's see who's here. Shannon, hello. I'm glad you're here. And Carol, it will be fun. It will be so fun. So I also have to probably start a new knitting project to knit in the car because my girlfriend's driving. My partner in crime is driving. I drove her last year. She's driving me this year. And so I'll come up with some easy car knitting. And I have some little gifties there to take to the people at the retreat. I've got my stuff I've got to pack. Just got to start putting it all together. Primitive Gatherings is big. Lisa, who owns Primitive Gatherings and who's teaching, she's big on starching all your fabric ahead of time. So she's like, bring 4 cans of starch. So last night I put in a grocery order that's going to be delivered like anytime. And I woke up this morning going, oh, dang, I didn't add starch to my grocery order. And I pulled up the app and it said, you have 18 minutes left to edit your shopping cart. And I went, 4 cans of starch. So dodge that bullet because otherwise I'd have to put on shoes and go out. And I'm not doing that because I'm going to enjoy being home for several days. Other things I did was I did a big cook this weekend. I did chili for now, chili kit, a crock pot kit for the freezer, 3 dozen meatballs, 10 stuffed peppers, and arancini. It's a Sicilian rice ball with sausage and meat inside of it and peas and cheese. I did 2 trays of that. And when I went up to my daughters yesterday, I'm like, okay, give me a list. And they're like, told me what they wanted from the freezer. So I was able to take up some freezer meals for them. I like doing cooking. Cooking I find is creative as quilting, as creative as knitting. While I'm an expert at quilting, I'm a beginner to advanced beginner of knitting. And I'm pretty competent as a quilter. I mean, as a cook, but I'm not like gourmet. But anyway, those are things that just fill me with so much happiness. And I was so excited. I spent 2.5 hours on Saturday and I cooked 1, 2, 5, 9, 11 to 12 meals in a couple hours. So when I get home from Primitive Gatherings, I can just go through the list and say, not cooking tonight, but we're having that. Not cooking tonight, but we're having that. And I think I have more cooking to do tonight because I hit a sale at the grocery store. So I'm making cottage pies for the freezer. And I'm making cheeseburger pie for the freezer because I hit a beef sale. Anyway, that's my silly excitement. It fills up so much happy time in my brain. Like, ooh, so if I do all the seasonings and the browning of everything, I can freeze that. And then when I go to put something in a crock pot, I can just dump it in and then dump in like a can of beans or whatever. It just makes me feel prepared for the days to come. That if it's too hot or I'm too tired or I'm too busy or if someone needs a meal quick or if I want to take my daughter a meal, just to just save them some time with baby in the house, I can just take it. It's in the fridge. Here you go. It just kind of makes me real happy. Let's see. Jeanette, hello from New Jersey. You're enjoying the spring day. Like, where was this in April? We were in 30 or 90. We didn't have a whole lot of options there. I take at least 3 knit projects with me when I leave my house. I have socks and a scarf as well. I always have a pair of socks for my purse to knit. I have a scarf that's just a long-term project that I could knit on for days. And then I have my grandson's sweater, which I probably won't bring with me, but I might start a jacket. And it's just a long rectangle that's going to be seamed at the ends to make little sleeves for these sleeveless dresses so that my arms aren't, I'm not inflicting my arms on the world. So I have this green that matches. I have 3 of these dresses and it matches all of them. What are your go-to knitting projects? Because my go-to is a hitchhiker scarf, which is a scarf that has this edge on the end of it, and then a pair of socks, and then whatever the third project happens to be. Joan, hello. I'm glad to see you. I will wave at you when we're driving through Pennsylvania on Friday, too. Um, so, yeah. It's going to be so magical. So a lot of the work I'm doing sitting at the computer in between making the blocks is getting all the social media scheduled ahead of time for other people so that I don't have to sit and work a lot on my vacation. Like I may grab my computer and go sit for a half hour and do a few things, but as much as I can get done ahead of time, the happier I'll be, because otherwise I can just sit there and sew. And there's a gal at church a young gal who loves quilting, but she's about to have a baby. And so she's kind of busy. But she was like, now tell me about this quilting vacation you're going on. So you just quilt for 8 hours a day? And I laughed and laughed and laughed. If you've been on a quilt retreat, you know that you do not quilt for 8 hours a day. You quilt all the seconds that you're not actively sleeping, eating, and showering. Every other second you're quilting. She's like, that sounds magical. And I was like, it is. So I have new jammies. I have some sundresses to hang out, just easy clothes. And all the sewing projects are there. So I don't have to pack a lot. I have to pack starch and some threads that I already had. So I didn't have to rebuy them there. And everything else just shows up there. And conveniently, in the same parking lot of the retreat center is the quilt shop. So you can just walk. I can even walk there. Just walk just on the other short little walk over to the quilt shop and get whatever I need. It's pretty amazing. Mary Nielsen. Hello, Mary Nielsen. I don't know if you were on before, but look, I'm making a storm sweater because I know you're a knitter. This is for my grandson. We were talking knitting earlier. So, yeah, I'm just a princess. People have commented on I finally got air conditioning post that I put online. And other people are like, oh, I don't have air conditioning. I'm like, oh, sweetie, I understand because I've had it less than a year. I'm a fairy princess because I get to sit at home in comfy shoes and a nice, comfy sundress. And I get to do what I want to do. And I want to quilt and I want to sew and I want to knit and I want to cook and, and I do work and stuff in there. But I do that in air conditioning. And even 75 years ago, the crown princes of Europe did not have the luxury that I have in my life. So I am a fairy princess. Are you a fairy princess too? Or prince or whatever? I just feel like I'm the luckiest gal alive. Dina, it is awesome. And let's see who else is here. Hi, Cynthia. Oh, hi, Cynthia. I was sorry, I have to break the letters at the right place. So hi, Cynthia. I'm glad to see you. Hello. So yeah, that's my pretty perfect life. And I hope it doesn't sound like bragging. I just want it to sound like I'm grateful because I am. I just sit around going, I can't believe this is my life. I get to sew and I have air conditioning now and my life is lovely. And let's see, Janet J from slightly upstate New York. Are we having dinner together tomorrow, Janet J? I think we might be. I already have that in the freezer ready to pull out too. It is a great time to be alive. It is lovely. And I'm a very, very, very lucky woman. If you're new here, I have some significant medical concerns and such. And when people hear about them, they're like, oh, you poor thing. I'm like, you don't understand. My life with my illness is still better than 99% of the people on the planet. So I have very little to complain about. And I get to go to Primitive Gatherings next week. So I will be sending pictures and I'll pop in with a video, but it won't be at 2:30 on Tuesday because I don't know what I'll be doing. And if there's quilting and teaching going on, I'll be doing that. Lisa Bonjean does have a live video on YouTube every Thursday at 2:30 Eastern. At 2 o'clock Eastern time. And she does have her retreat folks come into that, but she films it upstairs in her studio. So if I can handle the stairs, I might go in and say hi, but otherwise get to see what the other folks are doing. And I think her YouTube is Stitch with Lisa Bonjean. Let me look that up real quick. But you should all check her out anyway, because she's amazing. She is my hobby. quilting. Yeah, Stitch with Lisa Bongean, Bongean. But if you type Stitch with Lisa, I think it'll auto-populate the rest of it. That's the plan for dinner. I'm bringing turkey tetrazzini. Just wanted you to know. You hope your car gets back to you by then. Well, hit me up if you need a ride. I don't know where you live, but we might work it out. So talk to me offline if you need it. Let's see. To know I'm a humble person means we know you're not bragging. Okay. I just don't want to sound like I'm bragging, like, oh my word, I have air conditioning and you don't. I'm like, oh my word, I just got air conditioning and I feel like I won the lottery because I went outside. I turned on the air conditioning and I became much a nice person. Because I think when I talked to you last week, I'm like, oh, I don't need the air conditioning yet. It's not that humid. And I turned the air conditioning on and I stopped listening to my husband breathe and calculating where I know the knives are. If you ever get really cranky with a person who lives with you when you're just cranky from being humid, I'm not so cranky when it's not humid. I'm like, I know where the knives are in this house. So, and I stopped. I was just like, oh, let me go pick that up for you. What can I do to help you? I'm much nicer when I can actually, what do you call it? Breathe. It's amazing. So very, very lucky. I'm a very, very blessed woman. So I'm going to go back to doing my prep work and my quilting and my knitting and my editing videos and then more quilting and other things. I will be back to see you live in 2 weeks. I don't know what day the 4th of July is. In the States, that's a holiday, but I don't know what day of the week that is. And it's a big holiday for us this year. So let's see, I will be gone on the 28th. And the following one is the Tuesday, the 4th. That's August. Sorry. Let me go to July. So the 4th is on a Saturday. Yes, I should be here on the 7th of July and the 30th of June. Okay, sorry, I had my calendar the wrong month. So I won't be here next week, but I'll probably pop in with a video, and I'll be back on the 30th, and we'll figure out the schedule following that. Mary, have you been to Primitive Gatherings? I wish that when a different friend and I went when I went the first time, and then when this friend and I went last year, I wish that I had a video of people's faces when they walk into the store the first time going, oh, I'm at the motherland. It's like, this is where I belong. Let's see. Humid is worse than heat. That is true. That is very true. So the 4th of July is on a Saturday. I don't believe my husband and I have any plans, but I wouldn't make a plan to do something online on a holiday like that. Mary, I'm so glad I got to see you too. I think of you as I'm knitting my socks, and I was figuring out this storm sweater, which is my husband and I were watching movies, and I was like, okay, you got to pause the movie because I have to join up the neck. And I had to knit over the shoulder, and it was very confusing. I'm like, honey, pause the movie. I have to count. I mean, it was we watched Gladiator and then Gladiator 2. So Gladiator I've always seen, but I hadn't seen Gladiator 2. But still, I could even have the noise in the background because I'm like, okay, this pattern is a repeat of 8, but then I have to pick up this many stitches, but then I increase that many stitches, but then I did the other side of the neck in the other direction. And sometimes I just need to count. Fortunately, he's a good sport about all that. So I'm glad. It's good to see you too, Mary, in your very nice house. So I'm going to go back and continue doing what I'm doing. Let's see. A Harley Davidson Museum and Primitive Gatherings. What a happy trip. Oh, that is happy. Other things, last year when I was there for the Experimental Aviation show in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And I couldn't figure out why the hotels booking nearby, like to go a day early, were so high. It's because it's the largest aviation show in the country, is right near Primitive Gatherings. So if you're an aircraft enthusiast, apparently that's the place to be. And my husband was trying to figure out where we'll be. Like, was he and I were just like almost in Chicago, and now I'm going to be in Chicago, but then up a little bit. So he was trying to put that all together, but it's like you go Chicago, and then you go to Milwaukee, and then you go to Oshkosh, and then you go to Primitive Gatherings, and then up here is Appleton, Wisconsin. So that's just the line along the lake. But it's that one of the things that's making me happiest this week as well, in addition to the air conditioning and being a princess, is going on social media and watching the videos of Europeans in the United States for the World Cup. And they're going, this country is amazing. And it is. And they're like, I just drove for 8 hours and I'm still in the same state. Or I went to Buc-ee's, or I had ranch dressing, or everyone here is so nice. The World Cup videos, if you haven't been on social media to see them, they make my heart happy. You have to follow Freddie from Germany as he's driving around doing a little travel log of what it's really like to be in the United States as a European. It's just amazing. And these are the happiest videos. I shared a video with my husband last night of a woman who said, oh, I ran into someone who was from the World Cup. And then apparently, like, she was working somewhere and someone from Europe was in there for the World Cup, and said, oh, that's nice. And so then he said, well, I hope, America's not going to win. And she was like, wait, we're in the World Cup? That's so nice for us, or so happy for us, or whatever. I love that for us. She was like, I didn't know we played soccer. I just thought we let them play their games here. So it's just so much. I've been giggling myself silly watching all the folks from Europe, even watching the folks from Australia go to an Outback Steakhouse. The Australian steakhouse. It's just been so much fun to watch, and it's just been pure, sweet, kind, palate cleansing, no anger, no politics, no, but you said this and you believe that, but no, it's like, have you tried ranch dressing? Or there are 120 gas pumps, or how clean are those bathrooms? Or it's amazing. It's just really fun to watch. So that's the other thing that's been making me ridiculously happy this week. So anyway, I will go back to that. And I will see you for live in 2 weeks on June 30th on Tuesday at 2:30 in the afternoon. And I'll have some videos in newsletter for you in between. So like this video, subscribe to the video. If you aren't on my newsletter subscriber, go to DebbieBrownQuilts.com, subscribe to the newsletter so you'll get information. And I have a couple cool things I've found on the internet to share with you in the next newsletter as well. So I'm going to head off and do more of my awesome life. And I hope you're going to do more of your awesome life too. If you're near me, enjoy this gorgeous spring day, because I don't think we get many of them. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I'll see you in 2 weeks. And until then, happy quilting.